Hello, and welcome to the Peerlist Peer Talk series of podcasts. I'm Dean Webb, a cybersecurity professional and host of networking-forums.com and an active member of the Peerlist community of cybersecurity professionals. Today's focus is going to be how to become an Infosec speaker. And for today's Peer Talk, we've got with us Ron Woerner, an Infosec speaker. Ron, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, Dean, and hello, everyone. Again, Ron Woerner. I teach at Bellevue University as part of their cybersecurity studies. I'm also a cybersecurity consultant and public speaker going around the country talking on a myriad of topics regarding information security. I love being able to meet people and share what I know. I've been speaking in this way for well over 20 years, starting actually as an Air Force intelligence officer, where I was taught how to speak and give briefings to high-level officials. So just part of my passion in terms of building people and helping people become more secure.
Awesome. So about about being a InfoSec speaker here, some people are interested in that world there. One question I've got to kick off with is how much of being able to be a presenter is dependent on what you know, and how much is dependent on filling out the request for speaking form that we have to fill out whenever we go to one of these events?
Wonderful question. So how much is it dependent on what you know? You have to be very knowledgeable. Your audience will be able to pick up if you are not, if you don't know what you're saying, it becomes obvious.
Right.
You have to have the background for it. Now, you don't always have to be the complete expert. Audiences also appreciate when you're genuine with them. And if you don't know something, be upfront and honest, but have the dialogue on it. Now, in order to get into a lot of the big conferences like the RSA conference, the Black Hat, NISCON, IC Squared, ISA, etc., you do need to know how to write out a good proposal. And that's where learning some marketing comes in, how to create a unique title that explains what you're talking about in a very short format. It's an art as well as a science that, like anything else, needs to be continually practiced. And that's actually my number one tip is practice, practice, practice. Practice as much as you can.
Mm-hmm. So when you talk about practicing as much as you can, I know about RSA. I've heard tell that it exists. I've heard about B-sides here and there. What are some other cybersecurity conferences that someone new to the field might want to pay attention to and consider applying towards?
B-sides, great example. They're all throughout the United States and worldwide. There's a lot of little cons as well, conferences. Near Omaha, we have what's known as Colonel Con. There's Corn Con. Unfortunately, Derby Con is no more. Circle City Con in Indy, GERCon in Grand Rapids. Great places to start. Even better than that, though, reach out to your local security community. There's a lot of meetup groups, such as ISSA, InfraGard, ISC Squared, and ISACA. They're always looking for speakers. So reach out to them and say, hey, can I speak at one of our meetings? It's a nice place to start and get practice in a very safe environment. One other tip, totally outside of cybersecurity, is about Toastmasters.
Aha.
Toastmasters is an international organization to help you become a better speaker.
I have participated in Toastmasters, and I can definitely vouch for the efficacy of that program. It is well worth going to, just as part of improving your soft skills in general. I'd say there for sure. Yeah.
They look at not only how well you present, giving a scripted presentation or talk. By the way, at Toastmasters, you don't usually use slides. So you have to be able to talk out PowerPoint, which sometimes can be tricky. But not only do you have prepared talks, but they have what's known as table topics, where they just throw a question at you about anything, and you need to be able to speak extemporaneously.
Right. You have to be able to respond on your feet. And that's great preparation when you've got the question, or you may have had 20 slides that were delivered in detail, and then the questioner says, well, can you tell me about X, Y, and Z that weren't covered in your slides? If you just go, da.
Right?
You're not really, yeah.
Yes, you might have lost your audience. And you sometimes can lose your confidence. That's
Yeah.
another tip I have, is just being confident when you're speaking. And how do you get good at anything? Well, practice, 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 and Toastmasters gets you that practice.
And and I assume that, if we're going to go out and find these Toastmasters groups and these other local security groups, it's not going to happen if I just sit at home and sit and wish that someone would reach out and ask me to be an expert.
Right.
I,
Correct.
so, like, how much meet and greet do you have to do before they think you're ready with before they accept you as one of them and allow you to speak?
Oh, sometimes that's just a mind game, knowing how influence works. And we talked about this being influence, the art of persuasion is actually one of the top concepts with cybersecurity that has nothing to do with cybersecurity. Knowing how to be likable, how to appear professional, how do you dress? Do you wear your hacker hoodie or a suit coat? And
Right.
dependent on the audience. So knowing the audience. But most of these smaller groups is a great place to start because they are often looking for new speakers, and you can often find a mentor as well who will
Hmm.
help you with your speaking. So you're not doing it alone.
Exactly. I've always found it helpful that if I've got someone that I can deliver my presentation to in advance, who can then give me feedback and say, hey, you know what? You could use a gender neutral pronoun here. You can talk more about this over here. I was getting a little bored at this point. Can you cut that or put in a personal story? Things like that, right?
Correct. And you hit on a great point. It's about personal stories. People love to hear stories rather than just hearing facts. So you share something about yourself or an experience you heard from someone else regarding how you had to present. Like, have you ever had the opportunity, Dean, where they asked you at the very last second, can you give a talk on something? And you have to have that, we call it a hip pocket speech. One
Yeah.
pocket. That actually has happened to me twice at conferences where the
Oh.
speaker for social engineering didn't show up. Actually, one time they got the time zone wrong. So I was able to get up and give a 30-minute presentation about social engineering almost off the cuff. That comes back to the first question of I knew my material and I was
Right.
confident in it. So
And then it would also come to them knowing you well enough to know that you know what you're doing.
yes,
Right. So it's kind of like I've done stand up comedy before too. A lot of that has to do with just being there when they need to fill a slot. Like, hey, you're funny. Get on that stage, buddy. And there you
yeah,
go.
80% of life is just showing up sometimes.
Showing up. There you go. So speaking of showing up, about how many presentations do you deliver? Month, year, decade? What kind of time frame do you want to talk in?
Right, right. So probably it depends on how big of the forum. It's about one big forum per month, but then up to 6 to 10 in a lot smaller forums, whether they're just local
Mhm.
community meetings. It could be a local group, a senior center who needs someone to talk about how do I
Oh,
keep
yeah.
myself safe online as a senior citizen, or
Mhm.
going into schools, talking to the kids about what we do.
And a lot of this sounds like this is community involvement. This is not I'm a high flying rock star getting $1 million hotel rooms. I am active in my community. This is what it sounds like, right?
Yes. Well, this it builds because then you can get more engagements to do it. You're
Mhm.
practicing your skills, but then people hear about what you're doing and they like that it's community involvement. Like I've had a senior citizen whose son was a business owner, and the senior citizen talked to them. He then had me come in to help his company provide security awareness and also do security consulting. So these
Okay.
opportunities, you never know how they can build on each other. And what sorry.
Yeah, lots of people there. Sorry.
One of the other points I wanted to make is that life is a series of presentations. Like right now, I'm presenting to you. So
Hmm.
even if it's a one-on-one, don't think, well, I'm not talking in front of a crowd of 200 or 2,000. Even the one-on-one is a good practice session for your presenting skills. And it can sometimes be the best because you can get direct feedback with it. So it comes down to stage time, stage time, stage time. The more practice you can get, the better you get.
So, so when we talk about going out into the communities and going to these places that are, a few hours drive away from where you may be, a lot of people may be thinking, well, okay, I'm looking at, I've got to drive out there. I've got to get a hotel for the night. I've got to maybe take a day off of work for travel, something of that sort. Um, when you do those sorts of things, is this all out of pocket, or do conferences try to help out with expenses? What's your experience there?
I'm going to give my good lawyer answer and say it depends.
It depends, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that if it's like a local community group or a senior center, the rewards are all going to be in your heart.
Right. And they really are. For
Yeah.
most of the ones where it's more than an hour or two drive, I do ask for compensation. And actually, many are very good about it. They
Mhm.
don't mind helping out by paying transportation fees or covering hotel costs, etc. And that can sometimes be the hardest part as you're trying to build a professional speaking career of knowing what to charge.
Yeah.
Whole separate conversation because I'm still figuring that one out myself.
Yeah, the other one is only how to become an Infosec speaker,
Right?
become a successful, well-paid Infosec speaker.
Right.
But definitely, I think touching on that there, where it's not, it's certainly not the spotlight. You're not going to become a darling of the media around the world. You're going to be well known within a small world, and you're
Yes.
going to be someone basically this seems to me like giving a talk in an Infosec forum is akin to lending a hand with a barn building. You're giving
Right.
service. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you can help out where you can. A couple of other thoughts on that is that continually practice your skills. And it's not just like in this type of a forum, but it's also with writing. So I recommend everybody blog.
Hmm.
We end up speaking how we write. So the way to become a better speaker can be through becoming a better writer. Same thing with doing your own podcasts or videos. Create your own YouTube channel and develop just 5-minute videos. Keep in mind, we live in an ADD nation. Attention span is 5 minutes at the most. So we've already lost most of the audience. But now
Well, pause, took a break, and came back. But
right.
yeah, sure.
Create your own little videos and practice with your videos as well, because then that shows people. If they say, well, do you have a sample of you speaking? You can say, yes, go out and look at my videos. And that can show what you can do as well.
Exactly. Exactly. And also by doing those things constantly, you do keep your material fresh. You do keep researching. You do keep moving forward. You're never stuck in a rut with if you're always doing something like that. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's funny because I used to teach economics, and one of the things we would teach is the fallacy of the declared preference, where basically it says if you want something, you don't sit around saying I want this. You're either going about getting it or you already have it. And if you have it, you don't say you want it. And if you're working towards it, you don't talk about it. You're doing. And so it seems like it's definitely true here. If you want to talk, you got to start that YouTube channel and show up at the local areas there.
Yes.
So essentially, is what we're talking about here the YouTube channel, the local conferences? Is that what paying your dues looks like in the circuit speaker biz?
Yes, definitely. It can take 10 years to become an overnight success, they say.
Yeah. And but at the same time, though, if you're doing this for the value to the community, you're meeting a lot of people who frankly need help, who need to know what you have to offer, and are there to participate with you, I guess, in your growth.
Definitely, definitely. And you never know where opportunities may come or who you may meet. The world, I've learned, is very small. And just by being open to opportunities, quick stories, two stories of how I've met world leaders. One being when I went to the Israel Cyber Tech Conference 5 years ago. Actually, it started with an email from the Israeli consulate saying, hey, would you like to go for free to Tel Aviv? And I'm going, wait, this has got it. They look just like.
Is this phishing? Is
So I sent it to my
Okay.
friend Ben Rothke. And for those who are listening, if you're not following Ben, you should. One of the forefront gurus of information security. Um, so I sent it to Ben, who's well connected in the Jewish community on and out on the East Coast, and he checked it out, and he's like, "Yeah, it's legit.
Mhm.
Like, come along." So Ben and I traveled to Israel, and I got to have a quick meet and greet with Benjamin Netanyahu,
Okay.
and that was just again being open and available to opportunities is just so important, and you never know who you're going to meet. So another quick
Mhm.
story is I was flying Southwest through Chicago, got on the plane really early, and there was a Hispanic lady sitting on the aisle of row two. So excuse me, ma'am, may I sit by the window? She said, of course. I noticed she broke her arm. So I always try to talk to
Mhm.
people. And how did you break your arm? Oh, I just fell. You could tell she didn't really want to talk. Well, long
Mhm.
story short, we land in Washington, D.C. She gets off. The stewardess then asks, did you know who the nice Hispanic lady was?
Mm.
No. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
Brush with greatness again.
Right. Do you know she doesn't fly in her black robes?
Well, yeah, well, you don't want to get them dirty now, do you?
No. But those are
So,
the life experiences you intertwine as you're speaking. Those funny
yeah.
little anecdotes that people can
Yeah.
relate to.
So you did touch on like some non-technical areas where you mentioned, for example, the senior center. What are some other non-technical conferences that we should open our ideas up to for if we're talking about cybersecurity topics that are relevant to just lay people? What are some other ideas you have on that?
Cybersecurity is touching all types of businesses now. So I do a lot of work with my local Better Business Bureau,
Okay.
BBB, and connect through them. Also, SCORE, which is a small business organization. You can reach out through them and create your own small business around this, and then you get ideas on how to develop your business as a speaker and make connections to other businesses. There's often other types of groups like Rotary or Lions
Mhm.
Club that I also have been involved with in the past to make more connections. The more connections you make, first of all, it's fun getting to meet people. And
Mhm.
two, again, they build upon each other, and just by word of mouth, your business can bloom.
Okay, great. Yeah. And so then, kind of as a wrapping up kind of question here, what are some things that you've heard conference organizers say they wish they had more of? Things like topics, but also things that they want more of in terms of presentation style or even formats of presentation.
Taking from marketing, first of all, Seth Godin is a foremost marketer. He has a book called The Purple Cow. So you want to differentiate what you're doing. So figure out what makes you different and try not just be the same old, same old. And it can be just the style, how you deliver it, or what you know. If you're an expert in cloud security or mobile, Android, iPhone security, or you have your niche, that really makes it a lot easier. And then you just speak to your strengths. So
Mhm.
you continue to build your strengths. Regarding how to deliver, first of all, this is a common mistake I see at many conferences, many speakers, is putting too many words on slides.
Mm.
You have a YouTube video out there called Radical Presentations, I recommend. It's a 6 minute, 40-second video because it's a video where there's 20
Mhm.
slides, each slide moves 20, given 20 seconds. So they automatically advance on their own after 20 seconds.
I saw that and I thought, hey, challenge accepted. I got to try that myself.
Yes, it's a fun experiment I did for myself, that I did that to be
Yeah.
different. But presentation Zen is a style of presenting without a lot of words on slides, but using images, pictures, GIFs, memes,
Mhm.
etc. to make your point. You want people to focus on what you're saying and not everything on your slide.
Right.
Keep things simple. The more you complicate it too, the harder you're making it on yourself as well. One other quick little tidbit I like to tell people is that the audience is dumb. Now, by that, I don't mean like you're dumb or people are dumb in general. They just don't know what you're saying as a speaker because
Right.
unless they've seen your talk many times before. So as long as you come across confident and you know how to speak off the cuff a little bit, and you get rid of your audible pauses being ums, ahs, you knows, you can come and really develop a good talk just based on your knowledge that you've gathered over the years.
There you are. There you are. So everyone, we want to thank very much to Ron Woerner for participating in the Peerless Peer Talk series. This is the first of a series on how to become an Infosec speaker. We're going to talk with some more Infosec professionals, and those of you who are interested in getting involved in this great opportunity here to share the gospel, if you will, of the cybersecurity world, feel free to tune into more of these. And when this is posted on Peerlist, you'll be able to go there and comment on it and ask more questions. And Ron and I will be able to respond back to you, give you even more guidance on these things.
Please don't be afraid to ask questions. Questions are good. There really are no stupid questions. So reach out. We're here to help. We want to grow the community.
Exactly. That's why we're doing this, right?
Exactly.
There we are. So with that, we say goodbye to everybody and hope you have a happy and cyber safe tomorrow. That sounded corny, didn't it, Ron? Fine. Just everybody take care. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.